from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
When you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle, the ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.
Hello and welcome to another beautiful day. It's a bright day, it's a fair day. So good to have you join us on Global Morning this beautiful 27th day of February 2025. I'm so excited. And one of the things that makes me so excited right now is the fact that you are right there. So I was thinking, I wanted to say because the month is winding up. Well, whether the month is winding up or not, we are always here for you because you deserve to know what's happening as far as news and current affairs is concerned. My name is Ramsey Enoch and I will be steering the affairs of Global Morning from now until 10 o'clock. And don't forget that we have so much lined up for you on Global Morning today, beginning from the national dailies. What are the papers saying? What are the stories making round? Which one is of interest to Nigerians? I think the only thing Nigerians want to hear right now is that they can buy food very cheap, is that the economy is getting stable, is that we are already having investors coming into Nigeria to invest. And I got a good news for you this morning. Yes, something is happening towards that direction, and you get to know more about that as we get into the national dailies for today. And two major conversations will be going on Global Morning. First of all, we'll be looking at the polls. How credible is our polls? You know, anytime you talk about elections, the first thing that comes into mind is how credible is this election going to be? And the authorities will keep telling you this election is going to be free and fair. We have everything. The card readers are working, everything. The ad hoc staffs are intact, everything. The materials, INEC will tell you everything is going to be okay. But then at the end of the day, you begin to hear different stories of irregularities and so many incredible things happening from the polls. But now, are we getting it right already? Is everything falling in place? You think 2027 is far away? No, it's somewhere around the corner. And apart from that, we've been having off-cycle elections in Nigeria, where you hear things like, all right, we've learned our lessons from Edo State. Now that we are going to Osun State, we know what to do. Now that we're going to, Anambra State, we know what to do. But then at the end of the day, you still hear the same story. Well, don't get tired. It is your right to vote and be voted for. You don't need to defranchise yourself. So always go out to cast your vote so you can have a voice when things are not going smoothly. That's going to be the first conversation today. And of course, we will have an expert join us in that conversation. An expert is going to be joining us. And of course, what about a lot of people don't know much about the State House of Assembly. If you ask some persons, they will tell you, we know the Senate and, of course, the National Assembly. What about the State House of Assembly, which is the closest to the people? Aha! You get to know more about that and how crucial is it in governance. Very important. I will have a member representing one of the assemblies in a state in Nigeria. Join us on the conversation today as we talk very, very critically about the importance, how essential and critical is that all right. Well, let's go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return. And okay, before we go on break, I think I need to tell you this. It is a good news, and I just need to let you know about it. As a matter of fact, I think since last week, I saw in one of the papers that the price of food is reducing gradually. And yesterday, I saw it again that in the north, all right, in the north it has started. If it will start in one part of the country, then we should be sure, rest assured that it will spread to other parts of the country. The price of food commodities is reducing. The price of commodities is reducing. Food price is reducing. I know services will also reduce. And don't forget that Dangote said they have more than enough fuel to go round, even to export, as a matter of fact. So I think very soon things will be falling in place. We'll have fuel everywhere. We can afford it. It's not just the availability, but the affordability. You know, it is something for it to be available. It's another thing for it to be affordable. No matter the drama, no matter the gimmicks, no matter the selfishness, permit me to say that, because some marketers are very selfish, gaining to the detriment of Nigerians, which is not the best. We are all Nigerians operating the same economy, and you are right there trying to make excess gain because you have a privilege, you have an opportunity, and you want to amass all the wealth on earth in just 1 year because there is a challenging economy, and you are privy, to maybe certain informations, and you want to take advantage of that. I think we should come to that time when every Nigerian want to be patriotic to the extent that you won't do anything to hurt your fellow Nigerians. All right, try as much as possible to put smiles on people's faces, and that goes straight to people in governance. At every level of governance, your position is very important to the people. So at every instance, you should do something that will make your people applaud you. Not just a section of the people, but then give it a holistic approach. And everyone that you are representing at any level in governance should be able to feel your impact. And that's the only thing you would be remembered for if you leave. And that's one of the reasons why some persons, if you go to some constituencies, some local government councils, you go to some wards, you go to some states, you go to some regions, they will tell you this is the person we want. Presidential candidate, presidential seat, this is who we want. For House of Assembly, this is who we want. Because the person has been tested and trusted. So you need to prove yourself. That's the reason. That's one of the reasons the president one time said all the ministers should go prove themselves. Go tell Nigerians what you have done since assumption of office. And that was the period some persons were actually asked out of office. Some ministers were shown the way out. And some persons are saying, hey, come on. Apart from these people, don't you think some other persons will still need to go? I think the president is taking his time. A whole lot on his table. My God, if you're not there, you wouldn't know how it is. Even if you're a class prefect, the one they call class monitor or whatever, at different levels, different names for it, you will know how difficult it is to manage people. All right. So in every capacity, in every area where you are in power, make sure whatever you do translates to something tangible that the people can feel, so you can be trusted after being tested. All right, I think at this point in time, I know Nigerians are smiling right now because of the news. I told you I wanted going on break, but I felt I should let you know that the price of food is reducing gradually. It might not have gotten to your location, but then the good news is that, let me inform us right now that most of the food stuff that we have at the north central, to the west, to the south, most of it comes from the far north. All right. Apart from the fact that people stop going to farm because of insecurity, I think gradually we are beginning to gain our strength back a little bit, especially now that we said some persons are attributing it to the Ramadan in a way, that the price of food is dropping gradually because of the Ramadan. But we are in Nigeria, not just because of the Ramadan, not just because of the Muslim faithfuls alone, but because of everyone. Everyone will benefit from it, not just the people participating in the Ramadan. And that is the good news about it. So if it has not gotten to your location yet, yeah, it will get there. But then do everything you can do to be a patriotic Nigerian, and of course secure your domain. I'm not saying you should be violent. Like anyone will tell you, you are the chief security of yourself. Despite the fact that you have security operatives everywhere, you are the chief security of yourself. So protect yourself. Don't go out late. If you see criminals around you, report to the authorities. In your community, if you see people who are constituting nuisance, report to the authorities so that we can arrest this security situation that is ravaging the country. From the community, before you know it, escalate into the local government, to the state, and before you know it, they are out there terrorizing everyone. The law enforcement agents cannot do it alone. All of us have a role to play. But then, be good as a Nigerian. Let's go on a quick break so that we can return and look at the national dailies. And don't forget that apart from the two conversations and the national daily, the AM news is also going to be coming at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock. So now it's time for break. After this break, we will look at the national dailies. What are the papers saying? Stay with us. We'll return after this break. Welcome back from that break. It is time for you to know what the papers are saying, what news is making round on the national dailies. Beginning from the Punch newspaper this morning, I told us earlier before we got started that there are a lot of good news today. Well, that you're alive is even a good news. That you woke up and there was no emergency, it's a good news already. But then from the national dailies this morning, above the nameplate, importers fret as Dangote lowers petrol price again. Is that not the good news? I hate to sit well. But then the truth stays, when I see stories like this, I like starting my day on a very good note. And that's exactly what Global Television do to everyone who is always watching, our very reputable viewers out there. This is what we help you do. Start your day on a very beautiful note. The marketers are fretting, the marketers are scared, the marketers are afraid because Dangote, see, let me say this. One of the reasons why people were even excited in the first place that Dangote Refinery was going to start working and of course producing fuel, refining the product, is that it is going to be in Nigeria here. We're going to have the product in abundance, and that's exactly what is happening right now. But then the marketers, like I said during my introduction, that some persons are interested in making so much gain, forgetting about what Nigerians are going through, and that's not the best. So what are we talking about? Marketers are fretting, but the good news is that the price has been lowered again. The first time some people say, well, the reduction, 20 naira reduction, how far is it going to go? But the truth is this, whatever the reduction, whatever the amount that is being reduced, I think the most important thing is that there is a reduction, and this reduction is going to translate into something else, and that's the most important aspect of it. What is it going to translate into? Because anything that has to do with the petroleum affects other sectors, transportation especially. The fares are high, my God. You know what I'm talking about, because everyone is feeling the heat. So whatever the reduction, I think we should be grateful about it. But then marketers, don't truncate this effort before we start hearing stories about so many things. You know, a lot was saying about the Dangote refinery. If you could remember, first of all, they said the product was adulterated. Secondly, it was pricing. Thirdly, so many things that I can't even name right now. They said, well, Dangote cannot refine enough fuel that will go around Nigerians. So many things. But now we can see that at least there is a little relief. All right, there is a little relief. Then the reduction should translate into other things, and of course every other marketer should also take cue from that. Details you can read on page 27. Then this one says 1.9 billion naira fraud. That's the kicker. Ex-accountant general seek out of court settlement. Details on page 16. A concern as forex reserve dropped to $2.3 billion amid naira gains. Details on page 29, and of course the picture of Wale Edun, the minister of the coordinating minister of the economy. His picture is right there. Then before we get to the big story, just beside the nameplate, Niger orders exit from ECOWAS affecting counter-insurgency war. Air chief actually knew that was going to happen, because there was a joint task force. And the war against terrorism was coming from both Niger and Nigeria, and that effort was massive. We even heard there was a time that I think the boss himself, all right, from Niger had to follow the people to fight insurgency and all of that. Now the air chief is saying Nigeria orders exit, Niger orders exit from ECOWAS affecting counter-insurgency. All right, details you can find on page 16. Now to the big story. Election cases. APC account sees over 8.9 billion naira debt, says Ganduje. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return, and of course we'll do a little analysis of this major story and also bring you the rider to that story. We will be back to continue with the newspaper review. Yes, I'm talking about APC accounts being seized over 8.9 billion naira debt. This is very good news. APC accounts being seized over 8.9 billion naira debt, says Ganduje. Well, as a matter of fact, APC is the ruling party. So the writer to that story may give us more insight to what that big story is saying. Party incurs legal fees. Orders for presidential, governorship, legislative election cases. That's where the debt is coming from. All right? Because a lot was paid. That's to tell you that so much went down during this election. 8.9 billion naira. All right? Because of the court cases. Legal fees. All right? From presidential, governorship, legislative election cases. that ended up in court. You know, one of the things that this administration came up with is, well, we have where we can actually get the final say, and of course, evidence will become the end of argument. If you're not satisfied, go to court. And a lot of people went to court. Now, APC's account has been seized because of a debt of 8.9 billion naira. Because of this is just legal fees. Right, moving away from there, pro-Obasa clerk banned from assembly, threatening contempt suit. Immigration arrest to 378 illegal immigrants in Ogun State. You think it's only in the United States that people are being deported and sent to their countries? Even in Nigeria too. If you are an illegal migrant, you will be shown the way out because no one knows the reason why you are coming into this country, especially in the country where there's a lot of insecurity and people who are not migrating into the country legally are being found. They should be sent back. That's exactly what's happening. I think I will commend the federal government for that, all right? Because you don't know who is who, and you don't know the missions why these people are coming into the country. You said donated drugs found in Lagos, Abia markets. You said donated drugs found in Lagos, Abia markets. All right, this is coming from NAFDAC. How did it get there? I think this calls for investigation. What I really wanted to hear is this person is being prosecuted because you said drugs were misappropriated or sold out to people. You said donated it, then it appeared in the market. How? What happened? Who distributed them? Who sold it to the seller? That's it. Because the seller, is it? A lot of things going on. A lot going on. I think recently because of the alleged case of sponsoring of terrorists is part of the reason some things are coming up. Investigations are going on. And whatever happens, we will be made to understand. Well, this is not a good news. Drugs meant for people being sold. What if they don't have the money to buy? Because we have a lot of vulnerable Nigerians who can't even go to the hospital because they can't even pay for card. They can't pay for card. It will amaze you to know that to get a card is 3,000 naira in some hospitals. In fact, I got to know this, I think just few days, I think 2 days ago. 2 days ago. I was surprised when I was told, all right, we want to get the card, and the card is 3,000 naira, and of course the test is, I was like, my God, people are falling ill every day. How would people who can't feed even be able to pay? Where would they have the money to pay for treatment? Well, we just trust in God that things will improve very soon. So whoever that is behind the sale of usage donated drugs in Abia and of course Lagos market should be made to face the wrath of the law. Now let's quickly get to the next paper. Our next point of call is the Nigerian News Direct. And on the Nigerian News Direct this morning, counterfeit drug clamped down. We need protection. NAFDAC DG cries out. We need protection. NAFDAC DG cries out. Well, this is reminding me of the times of Dora Akunyili. Well, it is not an easy position because you need to do the needful. You don't have to cut corners. And this is going to make some people cry, and this is going to make some people smile. So it is both sides of the coin. So it's not very easy sometimes. So now that DG is crying out, we need help. We need help. Counterfeit drugs clamped down. We need protection. I think they should be protected. That's the reason, that's what that calls for. Okay, Ogun stakeholders, hail Makinde pass vote of confidence. Emefiele alleges bias as court denies request to withdraw from trial. Emefiele alleges bias as court denies request to withdraw from trial. Then this one says, hiding MRS Aduva to sell PMS at 860 naira per litre as Dangote crash prices. All right. Well, I won't say this again, but I said it before we got started that as a matter of fact, this is going to translate. The price of fuel is dropping. At least it is coming to 800. We are waiting for when it will get to 500 and to the 200 naira that it used to be. It's possible. It's a possibility. If you want to make it happen, it can happen. How? Now Dangote Refinery is working and he is reducing the price of the product gradually. It has happened again, even though the marketers are fretting. That's not the major issue right now, because they will fret, because this is somehow like a threat to their humongous profits. This is a threat to their mentality or idea of maybe victimizing Nigerians, or let me just put it this way, trying to make excess gain from Nigerians. But as a matter of fact, I think this is a good news. Some filling stations will be selling at 860 naira per litre as against the 900, the 1,000 plus. Some even sold above 1,000. This is a good news. All this in Nigeria News Direct now to the big story on the Nigerian News Direct, where it says, "Become, I won't let you down." Tinubu tells aggrieved APC leaders, "Become, calm down, be coming down. Okay, I won't let you down." Which of the APC aggrieved leaders is he talking about? Let's go through the riders. Probably we may be able to see one or two of those leaders, as the case may be. I don't know until we take it. But then I think it's so good. He is the number one leader of the party. I'm talking about APC. Someone said something. I don't know. Are you sure this is true? That there is no party that doesn't have problem. Even the ruling party also have internal problems that they need to solve. Some persons are happy, some persons are aggrieved. Just recently, one of the APC leader, a former governor, have been going from one place to the other, making utterances. He was even in a media house, and there were a lot of revelations. You know, all this put together, you will know that even in APC, there is no peace. All right, some riders to that story: approve Reconciliation Committee relocation of Buhari House. Garuje review how they inherited 8.9 billion naira debt as APC chair. We already talked about that. That is as a result of legal fees. Why Buhari missed APC NEC meeting? Garba Shehu is the one saying that the NEC meeting, some persons didn't attend, and the former president couldn't attend too. If you want to know why he didn't attend, Garba Shehu is already saying the reason why he didn't attend. So you can pick a copy of the Nigerian News Direct and go through it for yourself. And that's the size of the headlines from the Nigerian News Direct as we move to the next paper. The next paper right here is the Blueprint newspaper. On the Blueprint this morning, we have this one, below the nameplate now. News, Kanu ready to partner Blueprint newspaper. That's the commissioner saying. Then again, Dangote crashes PMS prices to 825 per litre. That's the crash. I think it was 900 and something, or 900 or thereabout, and he has reduced it to 825. Everyone should give him kudos. This is how they will keep reducing it. From 825, we will get to 200 naira, 300, 500. It's possible. Tell me, Dangote, this is happening because just Dangote Refinery is working. What happens if Port Harcourt Refinery starts refining Warri Refinery, remember, these two refineries already, I think, works are going on right there, and just some skeletal refining going on. If there is a full-fledged refining by the one in Port Harcourt, then Warri, then Kaduna, then Dangote, we have 4 refineries working earnestly in this country. We will buy fuel for 50 naira. I tell you the truth. Yes, this is wisdom. If we have enough and we can use it, then export and make money. Remember, one of the things that affected Nigeria, one of the reasons why fuel was being subsidized is because of the exporting. A lot of people don't know. We took crude, was taken out, refined and exported. Okay, imported, I beg your pardon, imported back to the country. It's just like you export crude, you go spend money to refine it, then you import it back. You know how much it cost? The vessels, the cost of refining. So this is the reason why we had subsidy all this while. Now that subsidy has been removed and we have Dangote Refinery working earnestly. If the money removed from the subsidy that was removed, the money that was being used for this subsidy, if it is being channeled to even 1 or 2 of these refineries, and they are working like the way Dangote Refinery is working right now, I tell you the truth, we won't have problem of fuel in this country, all right? And that's going to translate into other things. Prices of food, other commodities in the market. Then you also talk about the cost of moving products from one location to the other. You know, it will make life easier for Nigerians. In a way, I think we are on track. Nigerians will soon see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's my prayer anyway. All right, and that's what we've been told. All right, moving away from there, let's quickly get to the next story right here. And of course, what's the next story? We already talked about the fact that again, Dangote crashes PMS prices to 825 naira per liter. Details you can read on page 20. This one is from the world of sport. NPFL is the rider. Nasarawa United pipe Remo Stars. Shooting Stars hold Enyimba in Aba. This one says Sahel epicenter of global tourism, Ghanaian Army Chief. One writer to that story says incidents rose to 43% in 17 years. Now to the big story on the Blueprint newspaper this beautiful 27th day of February 2025. The big story says, my life under serious threat. NAFDAC DG Adeyeye cries out. Then the writer to the story says, agency seizes over 1 trillion naira illicit drugs, seek death penalty for culprit. All right, death penalty. I think there was a time this very suggestion came to the fore, and a lot of people were saying drug peddlers, that was actually for people who push drug, that anyone convicted, all right, it should be death straight. Now there is a proposal coming again that of course there should be a death penalty for culprits. That's people who actually do this illicit drugs and all of that. Well, the DG has been crying out. This is the second time we're hearing it in the papers for DG Adeyeye to be crying out. Then something needs to be done. She said they need protection. They need a lot of help, and that's exactly what she's asking for. Then more from the Blueprint newspaper. It's confidence vote for Tinubu Ganduje at APC NEC. It's confidence vote for Tinubu Ganduje at APC NEC. Some riders to that story, I know you would want to know what. Well, see, let me tell us the truth. You know, sometimes this is governance, right? Sometimes in every administration, there are people who are oversatisfied, and there are always this set of people who are averagely satisfied and some who are never satisfied. So in every administration, you have this category of people. Well, from the NEC meeting, it's confidence vote for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Ganduje at APC NEC. Some writers to that story, and this one says the party ratifies zoning of chairmanship seats to Northwest. Okay, to Northwest. Okay. Embrace peace, reconciliation. President tells aggrieved members. Buhari, Osinbajo, El-Rufai, Fayemi orders absent. Buhari, Osinbajo, El-Rufai, Fayemi orders absent. All right. For whatever reason they are absent, I think Garba Shehu said he was going to talk about the reason why President Buhari was absent. You can pick a copy of the National Dailies to know why. Ramadan is the kicker. NEDC distributes palliative to 1,900 Yobe household. Man scammed $28,000 by AI girlfriend. Girl scam a man. All right, AI. All right, court jailed 2 teachers 20 years each for raping pupils in Ekiti State. I think this is a welcome development. This will serve as a deterrent to other teachers. Most times these things happen in the villages, the interior villages. Well, not just interior villages alone, it happens everywhere. But then I think this is good. All right, this is good. 20 years imprisonment for raping pupils in Ekiti State. Not just one teacher, but 2 teachers. All right, finally, new investment on the horizon as BP orders return to oil gas production. And that's the size of the headlines from the Blueprint newspaper this morning, and now to the Nation's newspaper. And on the Nation's newspaper this morning, we have this headline, which says marketers to get Dangote petrol at 825 naira per litre in price slash. FCCPC begins action on high cost of diabetes, BP medications. NAFDAC, that's the kicker. We seized 1 trillion naira worth of fake drugs in Lagos and Anambra. Most of these things happens in Lagos and some parts of the north. All right, the used drug was being sold in Abia, that's the south. Okay, and of course in Lagos. Well, now to the big story. Before the big story, there are 376 illegal immigrants arrested in Ogun State. Details on page 26. 4 fake revenue officers held in Lagos. There are many. See, some people are, I think sometimes you'll be forced to say some persons don't have conscience. People who are thriving, they are thriving. See, there is something to see people thriving, and there is something to see people striving. You know, some people are striving to thrive. You understand? Struggling to make sure ends meet. Then someone is disguising in the name of whatever to go extort money from them. I think these people should be used as an example for others so that this will not happen again. False revenue collectors, officers held in Lagos, things like that is common in that part of the country. A confidence vote, a challenge to do more. Tinubu pledges. Confidence vote is a challenge for us to do more. To write us to that story, and that's the big story on the Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper has that as the big story. Confidence vote, a challenge to do more. Tinubu is the one that is pledging that. Then Some riders to that story. APC NEC endorses president's policy. Then the second rider says, I inherited 8.9 billion naira debt, says Ganduje. I think something could be done to actually handle that. Tax reform shouldn't subsume custom, CG Adeniyi cautions. And finally, from the Nation's newspaper, tolling of Epe Mojoda Ijebu Ode Expressway begins March 24th, says Ogun Agency. Details read on page 27. And as a matter of fact, we need to go to the next paper, which is the Vanguard newspaper this morning. It is still Global Morning live on your screen, and of course we are taking you through the national dailies. This is newspaper review, bringing you to speed with the stories making round. Right here, the slash is everywhere on all the papers. It has to tell you of how excited Nigerians are about this news. Concerning this news, everyone who hears this will be happy. See, the truth is this: Nigerians are not even asking for too much. Even if the reduction in fare is 10%, it means something to Nigerians. And that's the reason some persons will tell you, how much did you even reduce? You think it's easy? It's a welcome development. More reductions are coming, I tell you the truth. So it's on almost all the papers this morning. Dangote slashes petrol price to 65 naira to 826 per liter. So he has removed 65 naira. The first time some people are saying, how much did he even remove? Now he has removed 65 naira. I just pray that the market forces doesn't manipulate the people, the greedy marketers. Some greedy marketers, not all the marketers are greedy, but some are greedy and they want to make too much profit. I pray there's no gang up. I pray the market forces don't gang up to make this go up again. He has reduced about 65 naira and now he's selling for 225 naira per liter. That's a good news. More from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. It's called Fear Dead as Boko Haram attacks Adamawa community. Details read on page 13. My life in danger, NAFDAC DG cries out. Details read on page 7. Tinubu's Muslim government has brought massive suffering. Sharia Council is the one saying that. Sharia Council, details read on page 8. Tinubu's Muslim government has brought massive suffering. Sharia Council is the one saying that. Now to the big story on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. APC NEC meeting. That's the rider. Buhari Oshibanjo Amechi absent as Tinubu rules aggrieved members. Some riders to that story, and the first rider says approve reconciliation committee. Relocation of Buhari house. A party applies for land from FCTA. I inherited outstanding illegal liability of over 8.9 billion naira. That's coming from Ganduje. Another rider says NEC overrules North Central Zone National Chairmanship to Northwest. Alright, this one says respect your status. You are just one person. APC fires El-Rufai. Alright, now the last rider to that story says explain absence of Buhari and others. That's details read on page 5 of the Nation's the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Now to page 10. Judge dismisses recusal request in Emefiole's trial. We've restored normalcy in Northeast. That is coming from the army. People at the Northeast, you can actually attest to that. Details read on page 13. Alright, this one is from the World of Sports 2026 World Cup. That's the rider Bafana coach Worry of Super Eagles. Then the writer to that story says group still open. Then this one says Nasima OPS to NAS. That's the writer. Remove section of tax bill that impose taxes on FTZ. Details read on page 9. FTZ means Free Trade Zone, like we have in Niger Dock and some other areas. Trump floats $5 million gold card as route to U.S. citizen, as route, I beg your pardon, to U.S. citizenship. Trump floats $5 million gold card as route to U.S. citizenship. All right, that's that from the Vanguard newspaper. If you want to become a citizen of the United States, I think for those who are citizens already, it's much easier for them. All right, now to the Daily Trust newspaper, beginning from this story which says APC passes vote of confidence on Tinubu Ganduje. Dangote reduced petrol price to 825 naira. A tax reform is the kicker. Sharia Council, FCT imams, Yadudu reject inheritance law, VAT hike. Now to the big story on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. This one says gunmen adopt 4 female varsity students in Benue. Gunmen adopt 5 female varsity students in Benue. So much happening in Benue State. 2 riders to that story. Waylaid on way for students for studies. Protest on campus. School closed. If you want to know which school, you can actually pick a copy of the paper and know the school that is being faced with this, especially those that are interested in things happening in Benue State. This one says Nigeria's reserve dropped by $2.2 billion as federal government defends Naira. Man bagged 6 months for stealing chicken. Man bagged 6 months for stealing chicken. 2 top military officers among 46 killed in Sudan plane crash. Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso's exit from ECOWAS, increasing burden on military. Air Chief is the one saying that this is it. You know, sometimes some things happen and you say, if they want to make them go now, but now this is the issue coming right now. From the Guardian newspaper this morning, below the nameplate, Dangote slashes PMS price by 65 naira. Ipman warns of marketers' loss. A tax reform, that's the kicker. Kanu warns against breach of federal character, Muslim rights. That's coming from Kano State. Then the big story, second term, that's the kicker. Amid row, APC NEC passes vote of confidence in Tinubu Ganduje. Well, second term. All right, I didn't say anything. Did I say anything? No. NAFDAC boss raises alarm over threats after historic 1 trillion naira illicit drugs seizure. FCCPC tackles rising cost of drugs, begins inquiry. Again, police alert to looming violent protests in Kano. Olukoyede is the kicker. Organized foreign fraudsters establishing cells in Nigeria. Then this one says banks fraud-related losses rise by 350% to 52.3 billion naira in 5 years. And finally, from the Guardian newspaper this morning, importers warn of possible port destruction as new MPA tariff begins March. All right, that's the size of the headlines from the Guardian newspaper this morning. And of course, so much has been said from the papers. Just go pick any copy of the papers. Which one interests you? Which one has the story that you really want to go through? Pick a copy and go through it for yourself. Now we want to go on a quick break. After the break, we'll return, and it will be time for us to bring you the AM news at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock. Stay with us.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to global television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome to all of viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the Global AM News here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agumofwebe. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nigecomsat. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcasts. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has called on the National Assembly to expedite action on the amendment of the NAFDAC Act and Counterfeits and Fake Drugs and Unwholesome Processed Foods C-34 Act to include life sentence and capital punishment in the penalties for such crimes. Addressing State House correspondents at the Presidential Villa, the agency's Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeleye, said the call became imperative as many Nigerians are dying on a daily basis due to the consumption of fake drugs and unwholesome processed foods. Speaking specifically on the ongoing enforcement operation in the open drug markets of Ariaria and Ezioku in Aba, Bridgehead Markets, Onitsha, and Idumota Drug Markets in Lagos. The DG said 87 truckloads of banned, expired, unregistered, falsified, and substandard medical products had been so far removed from over 7,000 shops screened in 3 markets. That's quite frightening. The Nigerian Senate has commenced approval of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's cadre during plenary last Thursday and referred the issue to its Committee on Ethics and Privileges and Committee on Code of Conduct and Public Petitions. The issue began when Senator Yemi Adaramodu, chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, raised a point of order. Gordon Sunday has details.
Chairman Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, expressed concern about the misleading media report regarding the event that unfolded in the Senate last week. He emphasized the need to protect the integrity and future of the Senate.
And I'm narrowing it to Mr. Senate President versus the Senator, which is not so. Because our guiding rules, which is our testament and our catechism, our own Bible and our own Quran, which we all subscribe to religiously, embodies and epitomizes the whole Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Any action against it is an action against the Senate. It's not an action against the Senate President. Mr. President, sir, we were told when we were growing up as toddlers that where there is no law, there is no sin.
The Senate leader, Okpeyemi Bamidele, Minority Leader, Abba Moro, and Senator Jimo Ibrahim, among others, lamented over the conduct displayed by Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan on the fateful day and recommended that the matter be referred to its appropriate organ for further investigation.
Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan being asked to move to another seat is nothing that has to do with gender, is nothing that has to do with hatred, is nothing that has to do with any form of malice. For the record, let me say again, distinguished Senator Adamu Alero, who had been governor for 8 years, who had been honorable minister, and who is one of the most ranking senators in this Senate today, was asked to move his seat. And he didn't make any issue out of it. We had a reason to change the seat of His Excellency Distinguished Senator Aminu Waziri Tambuwal.
I am at the back seat, but I can lend my voice. In fact, Mr. Senate President, the former Senate President, very distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawal, is at the very back seat after my own. Look at my own seat. Look at his own seat. And he's not complaining. He will raise up his hand with respect here. I will still go there to bow for his respect because he's a man of integrity.
In spite of some provocations, in spite of some offenses, Mr. President, we ask you to tolerate some of our actions that are not in tandem with democratic and parliamentary practices. These things once in a while will occur, but please, we want to ask that while we are referring this matter to our relevant committee, let us ponder on the drama that unfolded on that day and see how we can mitigate against the possible consequences on the integrity and the image of this institution so that we can move forward in the interest of this country.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, reminded lawmakers of the importance of adhering to the rules, citing Order 66, subsection 2 and section 55 of Senate rules. He underscored that all senators must conduct themselves with decorum, including prohibitions on chewing gum, drinking water, or being disruptive during sittings.
Those in support that the disorderly conduct of our colleague, distinguished Senator Natasha Uduaghan, we referred to the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges for necessary further action. Say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the matter is hereby referred to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges, and
Senators voted to approve that the issue be referred to the Ethics Committee for investigation and to report back to the Senate in 2 weeks. Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global TV News.
Godwin Sunday there reporting for us. The Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU has warned against the proposed withdrawal of the education tax to the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, as stipulated in the tax reform bills currently undergoing public hearing at the National Assembly. Delivering a memorandum of the tax reform bills during his appearance at a public hearing organized by the Senate Committee on Finance, President of the Union, Professor Emmanuel Osodoke, stated that scrapping TET Fund could lead to the collapse of tertiary education in Nigeria. Justice Rahman Oshodi of the Lagos State Special Offences Court in Ikeja has dismissed a request for his recusal from the ongoing trial of the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. Delivering his ruling, Justice Oshodi held that the allegations of bias raised by the defense were unsubstantiated, stating that there was no evidence to justify his withdrawal from the case. The defense, led by Olalekan Ojo SAN, had orally applied for the judge to recuse himself, arguing that his previous rulings had suggested a likelihood of a bias. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has issued its notice of polls for the area council elections in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The elections are set to take place on February 21, 2026, starting at 8:30 a.m. across all polling units within the territory. The Commission emphasized that only eligible voters with valid permanent voter cards (PVCs) and whose names appear on the register of voters will be allowed to cast their ballots. The detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has urged the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere Eko, to intervene in the reassignment of his case following the recusal of Justice Binta Yanko from his trial. Kanu, in a letter, appealed to the CJO to direct the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, to transfer his case to another judge with the requisite jurisdiction. His lead counsel, Aloy Ejimako, stated that Justice Yanko had recused herself from the case on September 24, 2024, following Kanu's request on grounds of alleged bias. Kayode Egbetokun, the Inspector General of Police, has commended the Commissioner of Police in Osun State, Mohammed Abba, for ensuring a peaceful and secure environment during the state's controversial local government election. In a statement by CSP MEC Okbalola, a police spokesperson in the state, Egbetokun gave the commendation during a visit to the police command. Okbalola said the IGP was in Osun State to supervise and gain a first-hand view of the situation in the state concerning the recently conducted local government election. Minister of Interior Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo has moved to calm tension over the controversy trailing the purported cancellation of the visa on arrival policy, saying the process was upgraded and not scrapped as being reported. This statement is issued by Director General of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, Princess Zara, in Abuja. Tunji-Ojo made the clarification after his closed-door meeting with the delegation of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council in Abuja. The 19 Northern umbrella bodies of the Christian Association of Nigeria, also known as CAN North, have pledged their commitment to the body of Christ in being at the forefront of advocating for the rights and freedoms of Christians in the northern part of the country. This development is coming on the heels of the calls for more Christian spiritual representation in the north in order to bring renewed energy and focus on Northern CAN's activities and advocacy efforts. Here is Godwin Sunday's report.
The Northern Christian Association of Nigeria, Northern CAN, has inaugurated 19 new executives to steer the affairs of the organization. Speaking to newsmen in a press conference in Abuja to mark the first official outing of the new ESCO, the chairman spoke on the significance of the inauguration towards promoting Christian interest and welfare in the region amidst the long-standing leadership challenges facing the Christian body in northern Nigeria.
It is our responsibility to stand for justice, to be the voice of the voiceless, and to advocate for the right of all citizens. We will partner with our national CAN, our regional CAN, our state chapters of CAN. We will also partner with civil society, government entities, and other faith groups to ensure that every person, regardless of their background, has access to the opportunity and protection they deserve.
In the days to come, the conversation will largely be centered around CAN being at the forefront of advocating for the rights and freedom of Christians in northern Nigeria.
This new leadership of CAN in 19 northern states is going to serve the northern Christians in Nigeria with integrity, honesty, courage, and love for all. Yesterday, during my acceptance speech, I said, and I want to repeat, if there is a term for office, and it starts on a particular day, then when the day ends, you must leave and allow another person to do.
I am Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global Television News.
Many thanks, Godwin, for your reporting there. On a side note, at least 5 people have been confirmed dead, while 20 others remain missing after 2 speedboats collided along the waterways in Warri South local government area, Delta State. The tragic accident reportedly involved both ferrying passengers returning from a burial ceremony. The fatal crash was largely attributed to poor visibility, with some believing that most of the passengers were not wearing life jackets at the time of the sad incident. The federal government took further steps to address some of the challenges militating against improved access to safe water and sanitation in the country by inaugurating the maiden annual Water Quality Conference. The conference, with the theme Safer Water for Sustainable Public Health, was intended to serve as a platform that assembles relevant stakeholders to deepen their engagements in mitigating the pressing issues of water quality management in Nigeria and developing actionable strategies towards securing safe water for all. Speaking at the event, Minister of the Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsef, reminded participants that water quality is at the fulcrum of national development and a fundamental determinant of public health, socio-economic development, and environmental sustainability. Estate health-specific matters for a while now, in furtherance of its efforts at enhancing Nigeria's primary healthcare subsector. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has met with partners and critical stakeholders on its primary healthcare Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) dissemination program. The MOU is designed to strengthen primary healthcare systems by improving routine immunization, disease surveillance, service delivery, and governance. Our correspondent Sharia J was there for Global Television.
Deputy Governor of Gombe State, Manasseh Jatau, emphasized the need for more partnerships in facilitating the healthcare system, noting that there is need for the sponsorship of researchers to produce a vaccine in the country in order to limit costs of medicine importation.
I believe that there is a compelling need to sponsor researches to produce medicines and vaccines for our own local plants that we have here. At any rate, all the imported drugs are from plants. And based on my travel of this world, I've visited 66 countries. We have more plants, we have enough plants to produce vaccines that we need in this country.
Frowning at the United States declaration of a freeze on foreign aid and withdrawal from the World Health Organization (WHO), UNICEF's deputy representative of programs, Ronak Khan, called for a revitalization of healthcare system and optimal use of resources to help access proper health services.
Really reduce the reliance on others at all levels. What has happened by this US government decision has shook us to the core, but honestly, I think we knew this was coming because we cannot be forever rely on external support. All of us need to have our own ownership, our own accountabilities and own responsibilities as well.
The Primary Healthcare MOU is a 3-year partnership involving Gavi, the Federal Ministry of Health, UNICEF, and 8 states that comprise Bayelsa, Gombe, Jigawa, Katsina, Kebbi, Niger, Taraba, and Zamfara. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you, Sharon Ajay, for that health reporting. You're watching the live broadcast of the Global AM News coming to you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. When the rest of the news returns shortly, Ukraine's Zelensky says no security guarantees agreed yet in draft minerals deal with the United States. We have those details and all the stories for you on the other side of this break. Now let's begin the second part of this news broadcast with business, where the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has summoned MultiChoice Nigeria over its planned subscription price increase set to be effective on March 1, 2025. In a statement by Ondanje Ijagu, the Commission's Director of Corporate Affairs, it expressed concerns over the recurrent price hikes in Nigeria's pay TV industry, warning against possible anti-competitive practices and market exploitation. The Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, Haytham Al-Ghais, has tasked Africa to unlock its proven oil reserve of over 120 billion barrels. He said these are the 8th edition of the Energy Summit in Abuja, with the theme Bridging Continents, Connecting Investors with Africa's Energy Potential. Al-Ghais said Africa, with around 18 trillion standard cubic meters of natural gas, is a testament to the continent's crucial role in the global energy landscape. Nigeria's gross domestic product GDP grew by 3.84% in real terms in the fourth quarter of last year, reflecting an improvement from the 3.46% recorded in the same period of 2023. This also marked a slight increase from the previous quarter, which recorded an identical 3.46% growth rate. Hong Kong stocks resumed their impressive start to the year as they rocketed more than 3% on the back of a surge in tech firms fueled by fresh optimism over the sector in China. The rally led gains across most of Asia's markets, with investors shifting back to buying mode following a poor start to the week sparked by fresh U.S. tariff concerns. Let's go further into the foreign scene now, with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky saying there are no security guarantees yet in the mineral deal between its country and the United States. Ukrainian officials say a deal to share some of Ukraine's mineral wealth with the U.S. is agreed, and President Trump says he expects Zelensky to visit the U.S. to sign the deal this week. However, Zelensky, speaking in Kyiv, says he still wants security guarantees, and the initial deal is more of a framework. Apparently some grounds to be covered as far as this deal is concerned. Let's turn to other stories. The Army Aligned Health Ministry now says at least 19 people were killed when a Sudanese military transport plane crashed into a residential neighborhood on Khartoum's outskirts. The Antonov aircraft went down near Wadi Sedna Air Base, one of the Army's largest military hubs in Omdurman, northwest of the capital. The Army, which has been at war with the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, said April 2023 said the plane crashed during takeoff, killing and injuring both military personnel and civilians. And now let's talk sport with Super Eagles captain William Ekong hinting that this year's African Cup of Nations AFCON in Morocco could be his very last. The experienced defender, who has previously featured at the 2019-2021 as well as 2023 editions of the tournament, stated this position in a podcast. Ekong led Nigeria to the final of the 2023 AFCON and was named the tournament's most valuable player. Liverpool manager Arne Slot was built to be absent from the touchline during yesterday's home game against Newcastle after receiving a 2-match suspension and a hefty fine for his actions during the Merseyside derby. The controversy arose after James Tarkowski's stoppage time equalizer secured a 2-2 draw for Everton and at Goodison Park on February 12, leading to a chaotic scene. Referee Michael Oliver sent off Slots, his assistant Sipsk Ossoff, Liverpool's Curtis Jones, and Everton midfielder Adrien Dutre. Real Madrid have left Kylian Mbappe out of their squad to face Real Sociedad in the Copa del Rey semi-final first leg on Wednesday owing to a dental problem. The French superstar did not train with his teammates on Tuesday ahead of the game, but coach Carlo Ancelotti said the striker would travel to San Sebastian. Mbappe is Real Madrid's leading goal scorer with 28 goals in 39 matches across all competitions this season. And that's your Global AM News today. Thank you everyone for watching. But we'd like to remind all of our viewers that we are on DSTV channel 365, start times 276, and free to air all Nightcom start. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. You can download our app now, which is the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcast. I'm Yagmofobe. Thank you so very much for watching. We'll see you again.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews, and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back from the news. It is the Global Morning live on your screen. My name is Ramsey Enoch again, and of course it's now time for the first conversation. The discussion is going to be getting very hot soon. I want to look at strengthening Nigerian ballot through polls. We're looking at credibility of polls in Nigeria. A lot of people oftentimes, when you talk about free and fair election, the first thing that comes to mind is if the election in itself is free and fair, how is the ballot boxes being handled? How is the ballot itself being handled? Who is voting and who is not voting? How is this voting being done? Is the person voting eligible? Is the person not eligible? It's been a thing of concern. And of course, the INEC chairman and former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Nigeria who actually contested for the presidential seat in 2015 as a sitting president is the one coming up with this concern today, and we'll be looking at that holistically this morning. My guest will be joining me, Dr. Aliu Ilyas, a political analyst and a development expert, will be joining me as we talk about this today. Now, let's quickly look at the concern coming from the former president and, of course, the INEC chairman. I was so surprised to see the INEC chairman also accepting the fact that results of elections in Nigeria is being flawed. That is a good testimony, and of course that is a revelation. If it is the president, the former president Jonathan, that has complained about that, someone may say, well, maybe probably because he didn't win in 2015, but all of us know what transpired in 2015. And as a matter of fact, President Goodluck Jonathan has made this revelation, and not just him, former President Goodluck Jonathan, of course, and the former INEC chairman, talking about Professor Attahiru Jega, has already decried the state of Nigeria's electoral system, and of course blaming flawed election on political actors, the judiciary and the electoral commission. Political actors, judiciary and electoral commission are the ones President Jonathan and the former INEC chairman, Professor Attahiru Jega, is blaming for the flawed results. All right, what do we do? How do we get here? If this revelation is coming from an INEC chairman, then you should know that this is true. Like I said, my guest is already on the call. He's joining via Zoom. Dr. Aliu Ilyas, a political analyst and a development expert. It's good to have you join us on the program this morning, Doctor.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, it's so good that we want to talk about the fact that some persons have come up with concerns. They've decried the fact that election results in Nigeria is being flawed. Who have actually cried out. The former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talking about President Goodluck Jonathan, and of course, former INEC chairman, Professor Attahiru Jega. What would you have to make of that, looking at the topic of discussion today?
Right, I think it's a good one that the comment is coming from people that are well experienced, that have been in the helms of affairs. If it's other people saying, they will think it's because a political job, but it's good that it's coming out from there, even though they share from the challenges we are having in that regard. However, our election is being flawed. That is correct. It is marred with a lot of problems. The first problem is that we don't even have an audited electoral. We don't have audited what do you call it, electorate. Because over time we don't know who is late, we don't know who is alive, we don't know who is alive. So a lot of things are there that we have not been able to actually capture as it were. And you also know that our election is still marred with violence. We can't take that away. So these are our election also is also suffering from what we call what people buy election as well. So a lot of but I'm happy that it's coming from them, because most of us have a lot of solutions to it. Because most time I used to monitor elections. I recall this last presidential election, I monitor it at Wali, and I try to look at a lot of things that we need to correct. I think it's good that it's coming from them, but going forward, I think election and electoral system is an ongoing work. I'm sure with time we'll find a way to work on it.
All right, one of the persons that have been fingered out in the flooring of this election result is political actors. Then they also talk about the judiciary and of course the commission itself. So what would you have to say about that? Because these are people that are supposed to make this election free and fair and credible.
Right. When you talk about politicians who are actually want to assume office, recall every politician wants to find every means to become the the winner in every election. It is the system that is going to correct them. The system that will deny them from doing what is wrong. They are ready to turn it to violence if it will come to their own favor. They are ready to have a malpractice. They are ready to also buy election. They are also ready to go the route of the what we call religion and tribalism because they want to actually emerge. So it is the system that will correct them. And that will take me back to INEC. I think INEC needs to be on board, if you ask me. I think the work is too much for them. They can really separate that. People that will organize the process, the supply chain of the INEC, is even for people that will be announcing the result. I think if we can do that, it will separate those work and it will come out very, very well. We have gotten to a level in which we do not need to use PVC again. In as much as we have national ID card or other identification, why are we bent on using the PVC? So I think we should move from that era. Then he talked about judiciary. Judiciary is one of our problems. Judiciary is now becoming the point of declaring governors and election results, and it's a bad one that they are the one that we are waiting for at every point in time. In fact, if you look at most people that want an election, when you complain, you say go to court. They will tell you go to court. They will tell you go to court because they know that the court is going to declare. And you can see that most of our elections, even our winners, they don't have rest of mind until court actually declare them winner or not. So it's a serious problem, and these three things must be looking at appropriately.
Okay, that's spoken. We heard today that a very huge amount of money is being owed by the All Progressive Congress. These are legal fees from elections that ranges from that of the presidency to the governors to the House and all of that. Well, let's move away from there and look at the concern of the people. This statement, this revelation, don't you think it will go a long way affecting the patriotism of Nigeria in the area of voting? Because if you vote and you know very well, an INEC chairman is telling you that your vote has not been counted, that's what it means. Don't you think this will go a long way affecting the mentality of the people? Because it's just like you wasting your time. And remember, there is already campaign permutations and everything going on towards 2027. Don't you think this may have a way of affecting the people's mentality, as in, okay, why go waste my time when this revelation has even come from INEC chairman that the election results are being flawed?
It is two sides of the coin. First and foremost, I think we are discouraged. I can tell you, even if you look at the violence in election is a problem. I remember in Kogi State, a particular woman was burnt to ashes. I recall that a lot of violence, shooting happened. So if you look at that violence, you'll be discouraged. And these things are being perpetuated intentionally so that a particular party will take advantage of it. So, and if you also look at the vote count, most of us sometimes look at, they just convicted a professor who actually do what we call rigging in favor of another political party. He has been sent to jail. So if you look at all those things, you discover that it's quite discouraging if our vote will not count. So why do we have to go to poll? That is serious. But on the other side, as a Nigerian, I don't see what should make you not to go to poll. Please let us, all of us, start going to poll, because we keep on complaining every day, and the only way you can correct this wrong is for us to actually go to the poll and vote. So let's continue to vote while we continue to call on the INEC and the federal government to make sure that our votes count. It's very good that we go to poll, because if you don't go to poll, you allow people that does not deserve to lead you, and in the long run, they will lead you the way they actually want. So it is when you go to poll, you'll not be able to complain, you'll be able to raise a lot of questions concerning that.
Yes, I think you just said something very vital when you talked about the fact that a professor was actually prosecuted because he rigged an election. Now, let's look at it critically now. We're talking about the whole Nigerians now. A professor, because most times professors are being used because of their level of education, and they feel these are people that will not be easily compromised. Now, if a professor is going as far as rigging an election for a particular party, what would you have to say about the usage of professors as recs and even ad hoc staffs? Because sometimes some people find their way into the system and they feel this is my opportunity to hit and run. What do you think needs to be done, all right, so that all of this don't happen? Because we're just talking of one professor here. Maybe if you check very well, it might not even be just this one person that compromised processes during the elections that we've had so far.
Right. I think the rationale behind using professor is first and foremost, most people that are being used are professor of political science, professor in management science, professor that understand how to manage activities. That's one. Number two, it is clear, it is what we can all agree that it's difficult to really convince professor to really, but money is what we are talking about. So sometimes you can see elements, some of them compromising, and that's why we are happy that this person is being prosecuted. And that will send a signal to others. I think it's good that we're using academicians because they are well read and they understand the challenges of allowing compromise in such a program. So I think it's a good one. But the thing is, we must continue to shame these people that are doing bad to our electoral system. I think we should not stop at that. We want more. I will recall that even INEC are still looking to have their own court of electoral offenses. That will also help. I think the president can agree with them. That will also help. But I think by and large, it's also good we continue with professors, with doctors, because they are much more exposed, they are much more knowledgeable. It will be difficult to compromise. But you cannot say 100% of them will be difficult to compromise. So, and that's why we are seeing this element that is being tried and jailed before.
All right. One other aspect that I was so surprised about when they were talking about people that contribute to the flooring of the process of this results. The commission itself, that's the INEC itself, being part of it. You are known as Independent Electoral Commission in charge of conducting credible, free and fair election in a country, and you are compromising processes to make people who are not the choice of the people have their way. What do you think the authorities, the federal government, should do about this? Because as it is right now, we are not just saying, this is not a speculation anymore. You know who Professor Atahiru Jega is in this country. A rector or a VC before I became the INEC chairman, and you know his time. A lot of things happened. Now, if this revelation is coming out and the commission itself is being indicted, what message, all right, is that passing to the federal government? Because some persons in the past have even called for the scrapping of INEC itself.
Right. I think the problem is that at every organization you have sympathizer of political parties. So I think the problem majorly is that there's some sympathizer among the staff of INEC that are sympathizer of some political party. In fact, some of the commissioners are members of some political parties. That's what we must start to look at very well. So if they find that you have worked with a particular political party, you have actually contested before, you should not be nominated. I think that should start from Mr. President. Don't nominate such person who is identified with a particular party. Then in INEC itself, there are some people that are sympathizers with a particular political party. Those people should be found and maybe cautioned appropriately or even taken to court appropriately. If you know you're a sympathizer of a particular either ruling party or non-ruling party, please resign from that position or move you. And that's why some of them need to be caught. When some of them are caught and they have made the example of them, I think that will actually solve the problem going forward.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I think I would have to commend a doctor here because doctor made out time out of his busy schedule to be with us today by all means, to salvage one or two situations. All right, finally, before I let you go, you were already talking to Nigerians that nothing should make them not to be patriotic. Remember what happened in 2023 with Labour Party. Some persons are saying, well, if Peter Obi is coming out again, he may not have the kind of support he had in 2023. be. And that's talking about loyalty of Nigerians. Then so many things are playing out, apart from the fact that some persons believed that that election was actually marred by circumstances and their own person didn't win, which is normal, and there was a slogan of go to court. And we now heard that some billions of naira was being spent by the ruling party as far as they are owing about, is it 8 billion naira because of legal fees that they are owing. Now, what will be your advice to the federal government, to Nigerians, and of course, as we prepare for 2027?
Right. First and foremost, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to become president. He should write his name in the good book by making sure that he strengthens the electoral processes. All those negative things that happened in 2020 in the last election should not repeat itself. And going back to Nigerians, but before I go back to Nigeria, talk about Peter Obi. I think Peter Obi should man up and become a political party person. You cannot continue to parade yourself as a potential president, and you are not carrying along a political party. You are really that Labour Party is in mess, and he there should have solved it, because by default is the leader of that political party. He cannot go to another party 2 years to election and said he wants to win. So it's better strengthening the political party. Now, going to Nigerian electorate, I think we should continue to vote, we should continue to speak up, we should continue to correct the wrongs by either by voting or by going to places to actually correct it. If you say you don't want to be part of the election, I'm sorry, that means you are giving room for a non-state actor or somebody who will actually not serve you better to be at the helms of affairs. So I think we should all go to the poll every time, anytime, any day.
Right, thank you very much, Dr. Aliu Ilyas, a political analyst and a development expert. It's a pleasure joining us and being part of the discussion today. Thank you for releasing your wealth of knowledge on this program today. We're thankful for having you. We hope to have you more again and again and again, even live in the studio. Thank you very much for being part of the program this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
All right, well, this is the size of the first conversation on Global Morning today. You have heard, some people will say from the horse's mouth. Now, let's get to the truth, the bottom of it. The former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has a repute, an image he has built for himself all over the world right now, as a matter of fact. Now, let's just intimate you, let's get you to know that as a matter of fact, so many things are happening. These are revelations. I think I can say it's a season of revelation. You know why? Because we've not recovered from the book written by the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talking about President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. But now more revelations are coming up, and not just that these revelations are coming up, the pedigree of people releasing this revelation is what we are talking about. Former President Goodluck Jonathan and former, as a matter of fact, INEC chairman Professor Attahiru Jega coming up to say, well, the commission itself, that is INEC, political actors and the judiciary, which is meant to be the last hope of the common man, being the ones flowing election results. This revelation will go along with, but then I think the guests have spoken it, he has said it all. We don't need to trade our patriotism for anything. Go out and vote when it's time for election, so that when you have the cause to complain, you will complain with justifications. All right, that's the end of the first conversation. Now we will go into the second conversation, and so much will be going down as I have a member of a State House of Assembly join me on the conversation this morning as we look at how critical that is as far as governance is concerned all over Nigeria. And of course, we'll be taking cognizance from a state in this country. Stay with us as we get into the second conversation after this break. We will be right back.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back from that break. It is still Global Morning, and now it's time for the second conversation. I told us that on return, we'll look at governance. Then there is an arm we will be concentrating on. And as a matter of fact, what's the topic for today? The state legislature as a critical arm. That's what we'll be looking at, and of course it's all tilted towards good governance. And we have someone that was tested and of course trusted, and now he is a member, Benue State House of Assembly, representing the good people of Ogbalibo local government area. And he's right here today, Honorable Samuel Ismaila Agada is right here. It's good to have you join us on the program.
It's a pleasure.
Well, how has the journey been?
Very well. We just have to give God the glory for giving us the opportunity to serve first, and also to have the opportunity to relate with the people, given what is happening and our intention to also bring sustainable development to our people.
Well, I think one of the things that I always say is that some people in governance don't even know that leadership is servanthood. So when I heard opportunity to serve, I think I was pleased with that, because a lot of people get into these positions and they feel, well, this is time for me to cut away with my own part of the national cake. All right, let's get to how critical the State Assembly is. How critical actually is the State Assembly? Because some persons just look at it as, well, it's a position to just get there, you relax, if anything come, you take, and when your tenure is gone, you just move out or you recontest again. Now, let the people know how important is the State House of Assembly.
Thank you. The State House of Assembly is a body of legislators that are not just the replica of what we have in the National Assembly. At the local level too, there's a form of legislatures body that are there, which we call the councillors. So at every level, legislators are expected, first of all, to be the first arm of government. Being the first arm of government, you are not just a body of lawmakers, you are the representative of the people, which means every laws that are going to be made for the interest of the whole at every level, even if it's the local, the state, at the federal, the representation of the people matters in lawmaking. And at every point, the legislators are expected to perform checks. And doing that check too, you're also representing the interests of your people, representing the interests of the whole. In the act of governance, when you're performing a check on the executive or the judiciary, you're ensuring that whatever activity they are doing is in line with the laws that have been made or the constitution that you have sworn to defend. So at the state level, the job we're doing is first of all to represent. Anybody that is a lawmaker, a legislator at that level that doesn't have that in mind, that his first duty is to represent, then he's getting it wrong. You're representing in the act of lawmaking. You're representing so that your people can be reflected in policies and programs and in the laws that will govern your people. So this is just a clear job, and some people who are misguided will take it for an opportunity to foster self-ambitions, foster individual ambition, or a very minute group ambition, which is something that is militating against the integrity of the legislator.
All right, I think that's well spoken, because some persons feel, I've had a guest on my program before who said, well, some persons think politics is a career, and that's why you get to school today, you ask some children, some kids in school, some pupils, they will tell you, I want to become a politician when I grow, whereas politics is just is a part of the system, not a career per se. I think that's well spoken now. Honorable, let's get to the grassroots now, because you are representing a particular set of people. So many things happen during elections, and I'm going to get back to what happened at the Benue State House of Assembly very soon, but then there are some facts that we need to establish, because something must have led to the other. As a matter of fact, we have people in the house from different parties, you know, and during this electioneering process, there are a lot of agitations, a lot of processes, so many things were being done, and at that time, there are some people who looked at you as an enemy, who looked at people supporting you as enemies, and your own supporters look at them as enemy, to the person who is contesting with you will look at you as an opposition. And you know what happens in that process. Now that you have emerged as the winner and of course strongly representing the people at the State Assembly, how would you marry these differences now? Because some persons get there and it will be like, hey, come on, you don't even come visit me because you never supported me, you know. So how do you build these bridges, this reconciliation? Does it really happen, or the anger, the animosity, you know, all continues? You're not in the process, so you should be in the right position to answer this question.
Yeah, thank you. I know during my electioneering campaign process and programs, activities, and all the things that we did to ensure that we emerge, as I then, a lot of persons might have a different opinion, or they might just say because of one interest or the other they will not support you, and it did not deter me at any point, even though I was going against a bigger odd, an incumbent assembly member, and I feel I have what it takes to win, and whoever is supporting him to win, I don't consider them as my enemies. If in the history of Ogbadibo, we had the most peaceful campaign, because there was no point in time that we had cast up aspersion on the other opponent. We had a cordial understanding that this is a contestation, that there must be a winner at one point. And to me, I said, it's God that gives, that make kings, you understand? So if it is the will of God that I should emerge, what I need to do is to ask and seek, just as the Bible said, seek and you shall find. So I kept on going, even against all odds that are against me. I didn't have money, I didn't have the political infrastructure. All I had was the people, talking to them, getting to relate with them, and eventually I emerged. And afterwards, I didn't take to heart that you didn't work for me, that person didn't work for me. At the point that I emerged and I was inaugurated as member representing the whole constituency, I took it as a point of duty to work for everybody. I have good relationship with people who didn't work for me. I have good relationship with people in the opposition party. All of them, even all of my programs and projects that I'm doing, I include them in them. It is quite disheartening to realize that some politicians now concentrate on party when they have won election. It is wrong. Even those of them who didn't vote for you, when you emerge, you're supposed to cater for their need as a whole part of the society, not you being vindictive that a certain group didn't work for you, so you will not give them the necessary benefits of governance. It's a wrong notion. So for me, I've been carrying everybody along.
All right. I think one of the things that a lot of people believe is that, well, this is a person and all of that, but it's so good that you're carrying everyone along. That's what is expected, because at this point in time, no opposition anymore, you've emerged. All right, let's look at governance right now as a whole. There is this belief, all right, about governance that when you talked about political infrastructure, I was trying to look at one or two, because some people believe you need to have a godfather before you actually emerge as a political office holder. Do you differ in opinion?
I do. Venturing into politics myself, I felt people have given the wrong notion to politics. That politics is a dangerous game. Politics, only bad people are involved in politics. And I thought to myself, is it very correct to allow the bad people continue in this politics? Let us inject some element of goodness into it. Let us revive the virtue. Let us disabuse the mind of our people and reprogram and recalibrate politicking in the state, especially from where I'm from. We can start from anywhere. So that's why I took it to heart to be a participant. I started as a voter, I started as a party canvasser, I started as a party stakeholder, and I worked my way through the ranks, knowing all it takes to be part of politics. And after viewing the structure, I felt it is necessary for me to impute myself, so that any values that I have that I think I want to contribute to society can now have a channel through which it can be manifested.
All right, let's get to the Benue State House of Assembly now. So much happening at the Benue State House of Assembly that was everywhere. In fact, we were getting calls from all over, and some persons we called to make inquiries didn't take calls. Some persons took calls, but there were no clear cuts to what was happening. And so as it is right now that we have you and you are from the house, the situation was such that there was an intervention. What's really because this thing started from the house itself, between the members, and let's just get to know what really did they say is the problem. I'm not saying what do you say is the problem. What did they say is the problem now?
The problem is politics. When the game of politics is on, interest will come up, and interest might not be in unilateral direction. It is divergent, and people might tend to disagree at one point or another. The case of the crisis in the Benue State House of Assembly is that which has to do with a projection of a particular interest, which at that time was to remove the chief judge, and a particular interest was projected, and a few of us decided that the rule of law must be adhered to. And when you're doing this, you should not just look at yourself as an individual, look at the institution of the legislature itself in the state. Well, what is the content of the integrity we have already? What do we expect to build on it? And for some of us who said, okay, if this is your political interest, then do the needful, follow the due process. And the leadership there in the House attempted to manipulate the process. Removing a chief judge, you need a 2/3 majority of the House, owing to a particular allegation that has been investigated by the House and confirmed. Then a motion can be moved through a resolution of the House Standing Committee that has investigated. Judiciary ethics and privileges will now investigate and see, then bring out a resolution. Those resolutions will now become motions that will be taken in the House, and if there's a contestation, then the House be divided to determine whether a particular item in the recommendation will be accepted by the House. And that whole process was not done. What came to us was like an announcement. I do not see where an announcement metamorphoses into a motion. When there's an announcement, if it has been announced to the House, then the announcement that had come as a petition will now be committed to a particular committee that will carefully take their time to look at it. And when that is done, then the committee will report to the House. When they do that, then the committee, after their report, they will write resolutions. This is according to what we have investigated. This is our resolution. This is what we have found out. They will bring their finding and they will bring their recommendations out. They recommend for so and so and so. That was not done. You jump into an imaginary motion that let us second or adopt a motion. Fine. If you want to jumpstart the processes to the finish line, but at least let us fulfill the obligation of the Constitution. The Constitution says it should be a two-third. A two-third, okay, there's a counter motion to the abracadabra that you're arriving at, and the Constitution is clear. A two-third must be met. And the House got divided, and they did the counting that was not the representation of what the counting of the House should be like. So a few number of us rejected the counting, because if you want to count, the law says you count those for and against, and you counted the suppose those that are for. I didn't count those that are against, so that we do a plus or minus, we know they cannot be 23 members against 13. How many are we in the House? You understand? You will now be caught in the fact that you are rigging the process. So they didn't bother to count those against. They counted those ones that are for. And even the speaker himself at one point said people raise two hands. So you are counting two hands. It's not.
But why must people who are members descend that slow? Raising two hands. These are things they do in primary school. What must have prompted that?
This boils down to integrity. It boils down to good conscience. It boils down to the problem that we have in the whole politics that is taking us aback, is the problem of leadership selection. If the selection process is done in a way that people with integrity are selected, somebody with integrity cannot be voting with two hands when they are counting one hand. And somebody with integrity can also not abuse the House rule just to achieve a political goal. So it boils down to bad leadership selection process, which is now causing us a big problem, even as the legislature as an arm of government.
But as it is right now, because for a couple of times that this crisis was on, a lot was stagnated in Benue State. Now, where are we at this very particular point in time? Because there were interventions, all right? There were interventions. Has the intervention so far, okay, stopped everything? Is everything in place now? Because I can remember the Judicial Council came up with their own, and some persons also interfered in the process. Has everything? Is everything okay now? That's the problem. That is the question I would ask.
It still boils down to the man in charge, the man whose interest is in the matter. If he says everything is fine and everything is back to normal. Just yesterday, the governor was interviewed and he said he has not removed the chief judge. And the House of Assembly too didn't remove the chief judge. Why? Because the two-third majority was not met. And it's all in the law. It's all on the ground. But the superstructure of the politics in Benue now, you will go there, you see that everything is not well. The House still said they have suspended 13 of us who went against the decision to remove the chief judge without meeting the criteria required by law. And for them, they said our suspension still stand. We are challenging their position, because you can't even suspend. The House rule is very clear. You can't suspend member for more than 14 days. He is a voice. That particular member is a voice of a constituent. You cannot disenfranchise or remove the participation of a complete constituency. By law, it is their right to be heard and also be represented. So it is completely illegal for you to deny a particular portion of the state their right to representation. So we have come out with the position, and we told them that through our press conference that we had, that it is illegal for you to deny our people the right. We are all part of a whole, and we have our privileges and our right to be part of the government. So you cannot come out and say you are suspending us, not even for 1 month, 3 months. On what ground? What is the offense? Even the portion of the House Standing Rule that they are talking about, Order 9, Rule 53 or so, they are saying that we have gone to reconsider a particular matter that has already been decided. At what level did we sit in any house where there's the maze that we sat and reconsider through the leadership of a speaker or what? The rule is clear. They say if that matter has to be reconsidered, it will come through a motion. And we did not move any motion. We always use our right as enshrined in the Constitution, freedom of expression, freedom of speech and freedom of expression, to express our dissatisfaction with the process, to tell our people that we did not take part in the process. Let them go and vet it. We did not take part in whatever has gone down, that money exchanged hands. We did not collect it. We spoke to our people directly that we maintained the integrity with which they saw us and elected us to represent them.
All right. Well, we're talking about governance right now, and we're looking at an very important State House of Assembly, and we have a member from Benue State House of Assembly right here, Honorable Samuel Ismaila Agada. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, we return and we'll get to know if sitting is going on at the Benue State House of Assembly, or everything is being put on hold now. Until when, if it is really on hold? All of these details will come to you after this break. Stay with us. Looking back from that break, of course, one of the things that Nigerians are very particular about is governance. And of course, an honorable member has said, well, they are just there to serve. And that's, of course, one of the things that Nigerians think twice about. Is it really service or looking at it as an opportunity? We moved from there and we talked about other things. Now going down to the crisis at the Benue State House of Assembly, the impeachment, the removal, of course, of the chief judge of the state. Everything that happened, how the vote was done, I don't know, I'm looking for an adjective to use when people are raising two hands because they want to vote, and the person counted those hands, and a lot of other irregularities and other things that didn't go down well as enshrined in the law. Now, what's happening to the people that are being represented, because Nigeria is going through a whole lot of challenges right now? It's a dwindling economy. People are going through, when I say through so much is an understatement, because as a matter of fact, people are losing their lives to the hardship going on right now. So what do you think will happen if the people representing a particular set of constituencies in Nigeria here at the state level are not sitting to discuss, to come up with policies that will at least ameliorate the policies at the federal level that has done so much harm to the people? Now let's get to know if or not there have been sittings since this incident happened at the Benue State House of Assembly. Have there been sittings? Because as you said something very vital, you're representing some set of people. You didn't just wake up overnight and just walk into the House Assembly. You were voted, and we are representing the good people of Ogbadibo local government area who are looking up to you. Look at Okpa, look at Otukpa, look at Orokam. And as a matter of fact, have there been sitting? Has some sittings been going on? Has policies, laws, things that the people should benefit from? Because people are waiting. Have sittings been going on? And what is the state of the House right now as we speak?
Sittings from on the 19th, it was 18th, we had our first sitting when the purported removal happened. Then on the 19th, when it all went down, and we reacted by telling the world that it was a misnomer and an illegality for the House to claim that they have constituted treated, which they didn't. Then for them to also jumpstart the process of removal of a chief judge, which didn't go through the normal way. And then on the 19th there was a sitting, which if even any person approaching there, even as a media person, you go there, they will ransack you because there were thugs that they brought to take over the assembly, and pictures of some of us were given to those people that if they see us, they should not allow us in, they should push us out, or whatever was their order or directive, I don't know. The police too was there. They took over the assembly, and only the people that they were working with were allowed to go and ensure that they carried out their hatchet job of suspending the 13 members of Benue State House of Assembly. Since then, I think when we sat on the 18th, we were going for recess, And as a matter of fact, we're supposed to even go for an academic trip to UK, which the same trip that they have said that some of us who are suspended were no longer entitled to go for the trip. I don't know if the suspension means withdrawal from the assembly as a member. That brings me back to whether these people know the law. You are acting in ignorance. You are acting as if you are a god. There's no god in politics. It is the people that are the god of politics, and the people have sent a representative, and you are lording over a particular representative or a particular group of representatives. It's quite shameful, and the whole world had come out to condemn the activity of Benue State House of Assembly through the instrumentality of those of them who perpetrated those acts. And it's bad that the last sitting that was held was a big misrepresentation of what the legislature as an arm of government should be. Because how can you invite the police, invite the non-state actors, thugs and all of that to the premises to harass your fellow colleagues? That's cannibalism, and it's quite bad. So since then we have not sat. We are waiting to come back from recess on the 25th of March, and we hope to resume. We hope to resume our duties as members, and we hope before then, whatever have come over them, that they arrive at such rash decision as to disengage in a particular numbers of constituencies from the act of government. Then I think by then they would have come back to their reason, or something would have settled the matter for them, for us to go back and do our jobs.
Sometimes, sometimes as a matter of fact, someone will begin to wonder, why is there always problem at the State House of Assembly? Remember what's happening in Lagos State? You must have heard about it. Then this is Benue State. Then you go to other places, you hear these things happening. What's really, I don't know, sometimes I'll be tempted to ask, what is there because the interest is something else, and the interventions, so sometimes you begin to ask, so what exactly is at the State House of Assemblies, all right, that will make people not to focus on governance, remembering the people, and maybe go as far as doing anything to have their way? What's there? I don't know. Is it the money, or maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a lot of money there?
Far from it. Like I said to you before, the legislature is the critical and most important arm of government. The judiciary can only hinder some aspect of performance of a legislator, and the executive can also do but little on the legislator. But the legislator or the legislature as an arm of government, just like an exercise that was performed in a rash way that did not complete the process, with 2/3 we can have hand in removing a judge. That's our power. With the same 2/3 we can remove a governor by impeaching a governor. So when you look at the powers of the legislature as an arm of government, it's a beautiful bride that anybody will want to take control. So in a state, if a governor does not take charge of the legislature as an arm of government, he will not sleep well. He will think a foreign body might just come and influence them, and overnight he's out of office. So in every state, the legislature are like the pillow that the executive will rest on. If he sleeps at night and he wakes up and doesn't see his pillow, he'll be restless. You understand? He'll keep the legislature very close to himself and ensure that he has control. That's why the crises are everywhere regarding the control, who controls that particular arm of government, because of the crucial role they perform. They can be used to remove other arms of government from office, like persons occupying such positions, just like the chief judge and even the governor, or even you can order for the arrest of any person working in the executive that has been found wanting and has refused to heed to cautions that has been given out and has been acting against the interests of the people. Who can order for the bench warrant of the person. So there's a lot that is endowed in the legislature as an arm of government. That's why it is very critical for them to actually know their virtue and the things that they can do, so that instead of being a stooge or stooges in the hands of the executive, you can now use your powers to actually do the right thing, actually ensure that the interests of the people are reflected in policies and program of the state, ensuring that everything is done according to the rule of law. This is the whole essence. That's why the Constitution has empowered the legislature with all of these powers or privileges to do certain things that only the legislature can do. So it is obvious that the legislature is an attractive arm of government that any state can have crisis over who controls the legislature, because of the essential roles they perform and the sort of powers that is endowed in that arm of government.
But this one happening in Benue State now, the executive, the governor himself, has there been any positive intervention? Because this is just like his state being on fire. Remember what happened in Agato and still happening as far as insecurity is concerned. It's happening in places like Boko, all those areas, almost everywhere in Benue State. A lot of insecurity, herdsmen, thuggery, kidnapping, and so many things going on. Then the State House of Assembly being on fire is more fire for the governor. So have there been any intervention from the governor?
We have through several motions asked for security intervention. That's the much we can do, because the issue of security is on the exclusive list, and we can only call on the governor, who actually receives security votes, to do the needful, ensure that those monies that are brought for security are used judiciously to ensure that lives and properties are preserved, and people go about their businesses in a safe and sane environment. As for the killings, we have lamented about the killing, and it's painful that some persons will politicize this thing. Actual people are dying, and you come to tell the world, like the man in charge of the Homeland Security said that there's nothing like, there's no killings, which is, it is, there are pictures and there are mass graves.
There was a mass burial in Brazil to pull up
yes. And you come to address the world and tell people that everything is normal. I don't understand the crops of people that are in the governor's cabinet misinforming him, giving him the wrongest notions about the realities of our people. Our people are dying, our people are suffering. There are critical areas, especially that of security, that needs attention. And there are places too around this Okun and they are killing people every day. People no longer go to their farms freely. The bushes have been occupied by several groups of bandits or kidnappers. They form syndicates and even at one point, farmers were guaranteed security by some certain group of non-state actors. So what do you call them? Thugs or criminal gangs. So when you sell your produce, you now give them a certain percentage. You understand? Their security is no longer guaranteed by the state. It's by those actors in the bushes. You understand? Because you go there, you not see police presence. You go there, people flaunt dangerous weapons and light arms in the daylight. You understand? And people are going there and talking that this whole thing does not exist. You understand? So it's bad. Something needs to be done about that. People especially have to own up to the fact that we are living in an unsafe Benue, where people are being killed every day, and nothing is being done about that. Imagine the killings that happen in the armed robbery of Otubo, and till today, there's no report on whether there was any investigation into this matter. There's no report on how far the police has gone on this matter, but lives were lost. People were injured. As I'm talking to you, there's no one single commercial bank operating in that local government, because almost 6 banks were robbed same day, same time.
Well, that's a pathetic situation in Benue State right there. And despite all of these insecurity situations, there is problem at the State House of Assembly. And I don't know what the governor will be left with, because this is one of the reasons why whatever the problem is, whoever that has interest in the whole situation should calm down. All right, calm down and of course put the people first. Well, our time is up. It's been member Benue State House of Assembly, Honorable Samuel Ismaila Agada, who had joined me. He's representing the good people of Ogbadebo local government, a tested and trusted political ally that has been in the fore representing the people. On a final note, what would you have to say to the people of Benue State, Nigerians, and the people of Ogbadebo before we go, as far as the Benue State House of Assembly crisis is concerned?
I want to use this as an opportunity to first of all thank the Ogbadebo people for finding me worthy of representing them. And I hope I have not disappointed them by making that decision. And those who might have thought that the decision I took to stand against some level of illegality that has been perpetrated in the House, I should have done otherwise. I took the path of integrity. I took the path to defend the law and stand by the rule of law. So I did not regret my position, and I hope my people also understand with me. And as to how I've been reaching out to the constituents, I believe everybody, members of my constituency, are seeing what I'm doing, and I'm just doing within my shortest capacity, and I hope to reach out more very soon. And for the state, I hope and I also pray that unity comes, and with unity and peace there could be more that we can gain as a people, rather than being divided against ourselves and fighting needless wars. And I pray that when that unity comes, the interests of the people will now be reflected in policies, program, and activities of the government, which we will play our part as legislature and do the needful to ensure that every areas, every constituencies in Benue State are covered, while we're ensuring that the evidence of democracy goes round.
Thank you very much. Well, this is going to be the size of the conversation on Global Morning today. So many thanks to all of you for being part of Global Morning today. We'll come on your way again, same time, same station, next week for another edition of Global Morning. Have a beautiful day. Don't forget that Global Television, it's on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276, and go download the Global TV Nigeria app on your iOS and Play Store so that you can join our broadcast from any part of the world. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye for now.